Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk to you about The Last of Us Season 1, Episode 4. I don't know the title of this episode. So this episode was pretty suspenseful. I really liked it. You can really get the sense of urgency, fear, like what's gonna happen. Like you really felt for our main two characters and you were scared for them. One of the cool things about the fear was one part of the fear was you heard it but you didn't see it. Reminded me so much of Jurassic Park in the first one where you heard the rumblings and this and that, but you didn't actually see the dinosaur and stuff, you know? Sadly, where are the zombies at? Seriously, not one single zombie showed up. Not only did no zombies show up, but once again, no flashbacks to before the world ended, the terrifying part that always like grip people and stuff. That is now sadly gone. And I'm just kind of like, I want to see zombies. That's all I want to see. I want to see zombies. I want to see more action. I don't want the action to be cut away again. It did that in this episode. I'm just, come on, man. Like, I didn't come here for a drama. I came here for two reasons: to support Pedro and Bella and to see zombie action. And I will say this was some of the best like chemistry between Bella and Pedro in this episode. You really feel that these two are like bonding, becoming friends. Even the book of puns, like even had me laughing out one and everything with the whole diarrhea thing. I was just like, diarrhea, hereditary. What the heck is she talking about? I'm like, oh, it runs in your genes. Oh, that was so clever. But these two have a really good bond. And one of the things I really liked, I think it was last week when it was revealed it got renewed. And one of Bella's first like tweets was like, "Yeah, I get to work with my best friend again and for another season and stuff." Cause like those two had like a really good time with each other and stuff. And that's really great. Now, like I said before, I've never played the video game after the show is wrapped up. Actually, before the show is wrapped up, because I only got 2 episodes left before sadly my HBO Max runs out. But I'll probably watch some like cutscenes from like YouTube and stuff like that, because like I'm really curious to know like just how different this is from like the show. And are there any zombies in the video game? Like, are there? I have no idea because I refuse to look it up online, look it up on YouTube because I don't want to spoil and ruin my experience like I did with The Walking Dead in the first couple of seasons. Because I remember with The Walking Dead, I was like, okay, I'm gonna like see who these stars are, this and that, and get some stuff on the show. And then, because I was a couple of seasons late when the show started, and then it's talking about, oh, this character dead. I'm like, oh man, I'm only in season 2, and this person's dead already. So I don't want that experience again. But all in all, I'll say this was a really suspenseful, episode. We get to meet the hunters. We get to meet a brand new character named Catherine. We see Sam and Henry. My bad. I'm so tired. Henry and Sam towards the end. They did change from what I heard Sam's character a little bit. And as for Catherine, she's played by an actress whose name I can't think of right now, but I've seen her in a couple of stuff. I'll say this, even though I do like the stuff I've seen her in the past, because she was the original Willow from Buffy and stuff, and the unaired pilot, but Josh Whedon didn't like her performance, so he went with somebody else. She's supposed to be this tough, mean, like leader type person. I'm just not feeling it. She's too nice. She's too sweet. She's sweet like sugar, and her voice is very sweet. Like when the thing underground started scaring her, she like the way she reacted to it, it just did not seem the way like a leader would sound like. You know, she sounds too sweet like sugar. Like, who would take orders from her, you know? And so, like, God, what is her name? I know she's an Australian born American actress. I can't think of her name. She was in Two and a Half Men, Detroit Rock City. I can't think of her name right now. But, anyways, you know, we finally get to see Ellie with her gun. She finally got her gun after wanting one for so long and everything. And we see her playing with it. We see her loading it, cocking it. And all I have to think is, who the heck taught her that? Because she don't know much of nothing. She don't even know much about like a car. So how in the world she knows how to do all that with a gun? But she's playing around with it like a kid will play around with a gun. But a kid who's actually seen one. Now, of course, she's seen guns before, but like, who has like taught her how to do that? So that's kind of like weird. And of course, she's not going to tell Joel because Joel don't want her to have it. Now, she has broken all of Joel's rule in this episode, even mentioning the name of Tess. And so, you know, they're back on their road trip and stuff. And they decide to camp out. And, you know, it's weird. They're eating food from like 20 years ago and drinking coffee from like 20 years ago. And you know how it is with some food, like you're not supposed to eat it after a while, but this is canned food. So I think there's an exception to the rule for that, I think. Or at least that's what they keep saying in these post-apocalyptic shows, man. And, you know, like, so he doesn't want her to start a fire. He doesn't want to attract people. That's the one thing about these post-apocalyptic shows. It's the people you don't want to attract. Screw the monsters, man. It's the people, because the people are crazy. There was an HBO Max show called DMZ. Not a lot of people know about that. It's actually a DC comic show based on the comic. And I tried to watch it. I could not. I could not get past it. I had to give up on that show. It was too dry, too bleak, too boring. But basically, it was a post-apocalyptic world and stuff. And Rosanna Dawson was in it. And so, like, thankfully, this show's not boring like DMZ. But I want some zombies and stuff. And so he stays up all night, keeping a lookout. I don't know how this man is able to go without sleep. So, you know, they're heading back on the road and stuff like that. And so eventually they get into town, taking her closer to where they're supposed to take her. And at some point they do mention his brother. She starts asking him tons of questions because like a kid, well, she's not really a kid, she's a teenager. She's asking tons of questions, wanting to know about like Tommy and why he isn't there and like all this other stuff, you know. And so I think what happened after they had got some gas and stuff, I know they got ambushed. They saw a dude like, you know, waving for help, similar to the game, and they get ambushed by that of the hunters. Right away, Joel knows this is an ambush. And when Ellie asks him later on in the episode, he tells her because, you know, he's been on both sides. Him and Tess, they have literally ambushed people. So he's able to spot this stuff. So he tries to drive the dude over. They threw like a brick through the windshield. And the car hits like a spike strip. So now they're on foot in the building. And so like they're hiding behind the car. And he tells her, you know, I'm gonna cover you. You crawl over to that building and you see that hole. You crawl in that hole and it leads to like another room. I like the whole her crawling into a hole. It's like a rectangular shape. She's short and tiny, and so she has to crawl up in there. So she's in there. She's scared. And of course, you know, she has the gun and her knife. And so Joel's taking people out. He shoots somebody. And then like she crawls out the hole and Joel is being attacked by a man. So she whips out her knife. I'm thinking she's going to stab the dude, but she also whips out the gun and she shoots the man. And all I could think of up close and personal, how did that bullet not go through the man and hit Joel? But luckily it did not. Now, she did not kill this man. He was still alive. And some of the funniest stuff happened. Oddly enough, I felt bad for that man because he started begging and pleading to be left alone. Talking about, I'm sorry what I did. I'll just leave you alone. My mom's place is like near here. Just take me to my mom. I actually felt bad for the bad guy. And then it happened. Joel tells her, go crawl back in your hole. He's going to go take care of this. And she doesn't go at first. But then she turns around and she goes real fast. That's all scared. And the man's like, no, don't go back in your home. And then this is the part where I wanted to see. But you know what? It's actually more terrifying not seeing it. Yeah, we could have saw him beat the man or stab the man because the man gave him his knife. Oh, I want to point out something. Me and Joel got the same butt knife. I saw that on his belt, on his holster. And like it's the same butt knife that Ghostface uses in Scream movie. I like that. But the dude gives him his knife. So she crawls back in her hole and, she's up against the wall and she's looking kind of scared. And then you hear the man's just like pleading for his life. Then you start hearing, and you start hearing stabbing noises and stuff. It was just like, that was actually more terrifying than actually seeing it. So sometimes the audio is better than the visual and stuff. So, like, after, like, he gets into the room because she pulls, like, the table back and everything, they stay there. But eventually that guy's friends start looking. And, while they're like, hiding out in a room, she starts asking him, you ever killed anybody innocent and this and that. And so at some point they do start talking later on in the episode and he finds out this is not her first person that she has attacked or shot or whatever. Like, no, she has never shot nobody, but it's not the first person she's ever hurt. And he asked her more about that, but she don't want to tell because he don't want to tell his business. So it's kind of like an equal footing and stuff, They'll both tell each other when they're ready. And I like that. That's a nice way for them to like bond and like grow and stuff like that. They're taking baby steps and stuff. Because now he doesn't even check her arm no more. So he's starting to light up to her. Well, with Catherine, she is interrogating like a doctor dude. Apparently, something happened between Henry and Sam, and it caused her brother to be like, I think, beaten to death. And there was this one organization that like took over the city, but the hunters like overran them. And the actress, I just don't find her intimidating. Like I really, really, really don't. She's too sweet like sugar. But then when she finds out that, like, Joel took out the two people, she's pissed and she wants to know if a doctor can help because she asked that doctor and they tell her nope. So what does she do? Just straight up kill the doctor, which is stupid because you're going to need a doctor in a post-apocalyptic future and stuff. In a way, her, like, second in command shows her something in her room. There's like a crater and then the ground starts bumping up and down. There's something underneath there. Obviously some type of zombie. I'm hoping it's one of those bloater type things that I saw in the trailer. That would be pretty cool and it's big enough to make that. And so now they're looking for Henry and Sam, and they're looking for whoever did this. They think they're working for Sam and Henry. Well, they find the places where Henry and Sam are like staying at. And so this is really the only action we ever got, like the small shootout that you barely saw. This show needs more action. And it needs zombies. So in a way, they make their way to another building and they see that big tall building they're supposed to get to. So they start bonding a little bit more. He puts like glass on the floor. And so like, so he can hear it when they sleep in case, kind of like an alarm system. Well, here's some things that get a little bit different from that of the game. So she's all like, well, aren't you glad I took this gun and blah, 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 stuff like that. And so I think in the game, he says like, no, and doesn't teach her nothing. But here he actually is glad he didn't get like killed. And he teaches her how to like hold a gun properly and stuff. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of Shane and Carl from like The Walking Dead. Well, in a way, they go to sleep. And when they wake up, standing over them is Sam and Henry pointing guns at them. And Sam has like a mask over his face that he drew. Why? Because they're gonna reinvent Sam for the show to make him think he's surviving the post-apocalyptic future as a superhero. Because there are drawings of superheroes that Catherine found in their little hideaway place that they were sleeping in. And so it ends like that. And it's a lot different than how Sam and Henry met them in the game. So I'm hoping to God there's more drama. Well, I know there's going to be more drama. I'm hoping there's more suspense. I'm hoping there's some actual action because when it comes to Joel, he doesn't seem all that like, brutal. He's supposed to be this really hardcore bad guy, anti-hero type person. And I'm just not feeling it, especially when they cut away from stuff. And I want to see zombies. I just want to see zombies. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.